Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Dan up on the mic, checking in from the East Coast. It is 11:31 p.m. on Sunday, July 17th, 2016. Check it out. Yeah, I call this, this is all part of a series called The Way of the Phoenix, or The Path of the Phoenix, The Journey of the Phoenix. I haven't quite decided yet, but I'm trying to get my life back together, and trying to find some way to do something productive with some of my abilities, and to get some of my old abilities back. And I don't mean that like superpowers, but I kind of do. I used to run marathons, I did mixed martial arts, I was in the military, I did manual labor, and I've always been a balls to the wall tough guy, and I've learned a lot of things philosophically and psychologically. Grown up, 32 now, not a little kid anymore. I've been around the block a few times, and so I've decided this year, it's 2016, June, I said that already, that I'm going to try to get my life back together. And I don't have that person over top of me, shouting at me to do a couple more push-ups. And in my younger years, I had this go hard mentality that it's just like, if it was difficult for me, it's probably why I was doing it. And I've had since then I've had an injury to my hip, and I've troubled my mobility. I spent a lot of time healing. My hip will never fully get better, and I hurt myself in a way that I should have known that I was hurt. I was feeling pain, but I had this tough guy outlook on life. Man the fuck up, rub some dirt on it, let's keep it going. And anyway, I injured my hip, and I worked on my hip every day for a little over 6 months, and the damage got to the point where I could barely walk, and I went through this painful medical procedure called an arthrogram, where they stuck needles directly into the socket of my hip joint and shot dye. And that was like, needles are in your hip, you're laying still on your side for a good 45 minutes while they're going slowly with the needle into you, taking x-rays to make sure that they're not going to hit any arteries on the way in. Then they inject you with some sample dye to make sure that it's going to go alright. Then they inject you with real dye, and then they send you up to the MRI situation. So that's what I call it. So anyway, after you've been laying there for 45 minutes in pain with this needle, oh my god, this needle, it's going deeper, and there's lots and lots of pain, and the further it gets in, and when they squirt some stuff in that joint, it's not pleasant. And so you finally get the relief of that needle out of you, and they send you directly up to the MRI station, where you're going to lay in an awkward position for another 45 minutes. So I walked into the emergency room limping a little, and I left the emergency room damn near crawling. I was in so much goddamn pain. And I went to physical therapy, and we talked surgery options, and it's not something that they want to do because the hip socket is considered a low blood flow zone. So any surgeries that they do, since there's not a lot of blood that goes through that area regularly, it's going to take a lot longer to heal. And the damage caused by the healing process of being immobile and allowing the injury to heal itself after surgery could potentially, if not definitely, cause more severe issues. And because I am considerably young, at least that's what they tell me, they don't want to go that route. So I went to physical therapy in an attempt to strengthen the muscles around the outside of the hip, so that I'm not sliding all over the place and busting my ass, and to help compensate. And now I'm going to be 100% honest. I went to physical therapy. I bought the weights, the bands for the knee exercises to get the muscles on the side of the leg or the side of the waist doing a little better. And I did it adamantly for probably about 3 months before I don't know, I got tired of co-pays, and people are cool there, they're just not that cool. And I have this huge ego that tells me that I used to do shit that other people would claim that I got no business doing for somebody my size. And, you know, so it's a character flaw that I gotta deal with. On top of that, it's compounded with this whole shot to my self-esteem and my ego and everything about it. It's like, you know, the realization that I pushed myself till I broke myself, and you know, that generates fear on moving forward and getting back into anything, because it's like, well, you know what, something hurts, I stop now. You know, I'm like, oh, I don't want to break myself, you know, any further. You know, I don't want to lose my ability to walk, but at the same time, it's like, I ain't no bitch. I wanna fucking, you know, I used to do mixed martial arts and boxing, and like, I want to get back into that stuff. And you know, I'm trying to test the water now and slowly get back into being physical. And so this year I'm going to start going to a boxing gym. And originally, when I first get there, my goal is to just work on balance and legs and get my mobility back. Be able to walk and not look like I'm drunk when I'm sober. That'd be great. And I think that will help build up my confidence back to where, you know what, I could throw hands. Maybe not in a competitive sense, but, you know, and perhaps I'll never be able to do jiu-jitsu again in my life. You know, putting somebody in my guard, you know, pinching, squeezing the legs together, you know, might be something that a function I can never do again. And that doesn't mean that I can't, you know, feel like a man and get in there and do a sport that I love and throw hands with somebody, hit mitts or whatever. And so yeah, that's what I'm doing this year. I've also considered some other things that I want to get myself into. Talking on this mic is one of them, and just getting comfortable with bullshit. And I watch Joe Rogan a lot, and I follow a lot of different things on YouTube. I'm big into intellectual stuff, Sam Harris, and I'm not trying to hop on some atheist movement or start any movements or lock myself down to one topic. I like to jump around. I like to go different things. And you know what? You know, I might be articulate, this and that. I might say things, you know, in the wrong, you know, mechanical way that language is supposed to be, you know, taken. Correct me. I'm an autodidact, and I self-educate myself all the time. So if there's a word that I come across that I'm unfamiliar with, I'll look it up and I'll try to use it, and I'll try to memorize it. And you know, I've done that with a lot of my vocabulary, and some of my vocabulary at times I might say something that it's out of context, or you know, I'm using the wrong word or using the word in the wrong way, and by all means correct me. Anyways, some of the other things I want to do this year is I want to get into volunteering at the ASPCA here locally in Bradenton, Florida. The boxing school I'm looking at going to, it's a gym and a school. It's only $30 a month. It's called Fight Club. It's got a nice rough sounding name to it, and I'm definitely gonna go check that out, see what that's about. I want to start working with dogs. I can't afford to own a dog at this point in my life, but I love that connection that you have with animals. There's an honesty, there's an obvious language barrier, but you guys know what each other mean, and you know, I think it's fundamental, especially in an age of electronics and technologies and things like that. There's very unanimalistic, ritualistic elements of society that are very administrative, and those things I've always had trouble with my entire life. You tell me to move like 5 pallets of concrete, I'm like, go, go, go. I know what the task is. Get my hands dirty. Get in there. You know, you want me to fill out like a half an hour worth of fucking paperwork, and I swear that shit'll take me like fucking like 5 days. Cause it's just like, I don't know what it is. But anyway, I'm preparing to get myself into shape, and I would like, some of my near future long-term goals would be to hike the Appalachian Trail next year, if finances and the administrative processes of life allow me to do so. That's what I plan on doing. It's roughly a 6-month hike, 2,178 miles. I think that's what they said it is this year. It changes from year to year because they alter the path of what trails you're going to use based on maintenance and safety and whatnot. And so the trail has changed a few times over the decades. However, it's kind of like a pilgrimage. I'm gonna say this. I mean, it might be weird. I might be an introvert. I don't know what you want to call it, but I don't mind being by myself. I actually prefer that, except for some select few close friends that I like shooting the shit with, and I like acting like an idiot. And we've known each other for so long that it's just, I know I'm not going to be judged in any harsh way if I say something off color, outlandish. That it's all going to be cool. You want to bust my balls, it's going to be funny all the way through the process. That, and we learn a great deal from each other. Anyway, on this whole path of the Phoenix journey, not only do I want to get my physical back and my confidence and start living life again, and really becoming a part of things. I also am trying to do a little bit of work in my writing and actually try to get some things out there, thoughts of mine that I've had, some breakthroughs that I feel that have, moved my life along or gotten me to develop new perspectives, or some of the new perspectives that I have that have replaced some of my old perspectives. And I thought I might share those with some people.